The last version of the Rebel I tested was version 2, so this one is quite the change. This is my first run thoughts on the New Balance Rebel version 5. So welcome back to another first run video. Delighted to be bringing you my thoughts on the New Balance Rebel version 5. I missed out on the 4, really wanted to test it, but I had the Max 6 in place and I'd heard they were quite similar shoes, so I never bothered to pick it up. Delighted now that I've got this one. It is absolutely fantastic. And I'm excited to share with you guys what that first run in this shoe was, go through a quick technical overview and my thoughts on this shoe. Quick disclaimer, this is a pair of shoes that I purchased with my own money, so without further ado, let's get straight into it. So these shoes turned up on a Monday, and the next day I had a double workout day, which meant these things were going to be thrown in at the deep end. I took them out on my morning session, which was 5 by 2K off of 60 seconds, in and around marathon effort if we want to go by that metric, and they did all right. I must admit I was blown away by the comfort in the warm-up of the shoe, so I did 15 minutes either side of the workout and I was absolutely loving them. I feel really nice on foot at the moment getting this warm-up done. Really nice. I think this is going to be a good investment. I was a little bit worried about how they would feel during the workout itself, and we'll get to that later in the video, but they handled it really well. 15-minute cool down after that, so nearly 11 miles in the shoe for the first run, and they were absolutely fantastic. So let's whiz through a quick technical overview before we get into my first run thoughts on the shoe. I went true to size in New Balance, which I will quickly explain. When New Balance and Hoka and other shoes get up to a 12, they tend to go 12.5, 13.5, 14.5. Adidas can sometimes do the same. So for me, a UK 13 ends up being a 13.5 in New Balance, and it fits perfectly. We're talking about 35mm of stack height in the heel, 29 in the forefoot for a 6mm heel to toe drop. I believe that's gained a couple of mil from the previous version. And in my UK size 13.5, it comes in at a featherweight 280 grams or 9.8 ounces. And I'll try and remember to put some weight comparisons on screen now so that you can see how it stacks up against its competitors. So let's start our way from the back of the shoe and talk about the heel counter, ankle collar, tongue lacing upper, midsole, and finish with the outsole. So we're talking about an engineered mesh upper, which runs all the way around the shoe. A couple of overlays with the New Balance logo on it, but overall it seems relatively breathable, albeit maybe a little bit thick. Otherwise, it felt really, really nice on foot. A relatively stout heel counter. It's not completely rigid. There's a bit of flexion in there, but it's definitely got some good structure at the back there. And like with all shoes, it's just got that cup shape that goes all the way up here and around the other side. Decent amount of padding in and around the heel counter area. We've got a bit of extra padding that flares out at the back here, but that doesn't affect the Achilles or rub on it at all. It's just a nice amount. It's not too thick, it's not too thin. The cut under the ankle bone is really nice as well. Didn't have any rubbing there. That was nice and low. Really, really good. In terms of the tongue, relatively thin, although it's quite a thick material. The thickness of the tongue itself is quite thin. It just feels very, very tough. It's certainly not flexible at all, but it's a perfect length I found just to sit up nicely on top of the foot there. And it is a fully gusted tongue, which means it's attached medially and laterally with elastic inside the shoe. Hopefully the overlay footage will show you that nicely. And a very standard lacing system that runs from the base all the way up to the top there. And you've got that mid-tongue loop there that the laces feed through as well for double security on this shoe. Plus, of course, we've got that extra eyelet at the top if you want to do the runner's knot. In terms of the general upper fit and feel of the shoe, the gusted tongue, as I always find with most of them, it gives a very secure and nice fit. Didn't feel the shoe came loose at all on the run. Very nice indeed. Nice wide platform shoe in general, but nice and wide in the toe box. Didn't feel once like my toes were bunched together. Really, really nice and comfortable. A bit of thicker material that runs around the toe area there, but otherwise nice and breathable, pretty much from just back from the midfoot here all the way through to the front. Really, really good stuff. Moving on to the midsole, we've got a full slab of Fuel Cell here. I haven't used this stuff probably since the Fuel Cell TC, and of course previously the Rebel version 2. I missed it. It's a really comfortable material. Really soft, really comfortable, really absorbing on the feet, and it just runs from from front to back. There's no plates in this shoe, so it is just the midsole alone here. And in terms of the base of the shoe, you can see we have a very wide base, no medial cutouts here or anything like that. So the fuel cell runs front to back, covering a very wide section. And speaking of which, we've got decent rubber outsole coverage on the front of the shoe here and some on the back on the heel pad, where you might strike if you're a heel striker, and that classic exposed midsole here in the midfoot section. I found traction to be really good, but then of course I took it out on a dry day, so no experience yet in a wet day. And overall, really impressed with the setup of this shoe. But as I said in the intro, a huge change from version 2. Let's get on to how I found the run. So I think the first thing that I noticed when I slipped this shoe on and started running in it, and I could kind of see from version 4 that this is the way the shoe was heading, is it's definitely gone away from that sort of up-tempo shoe that I found in the Rebel version 2. Obviously version 1 was a very speedy shoe as well. I think version 3 was a bit of a transitional phase, and version 4 definitely went more so to this wider base model. Still meant to be there to pick up the pace. It is a very lightweight shoe, and I was able to hit all the paces that I wanted to in my session, but I definitely say this thing has now gone much more towards logging those daily miles, and I loved it. In that warm up and cool down, I was really blown away with how comfortable it was, and I knew instantly this was going to be my new favorite easy day shoe. And of course I'm going to be putting plenty more miles in this thing over the coming weeks. Really excited for my next easy run actually, just to log some more in this thing. But I will say, when I picked up the pace, it was okay. It was good, but it certainly wasn't exceptional. I think what Fuel Cell in itself offers as a midsole is soft, comfortable cushioning with great absorption, but not too much rebound. And that's where an addition of a plate would come in really handy. Obviously not in this shoe, we don't want to ruin this shoe, but that's why I loved the Fuel Cell TC. That was such a rogue shoe. I found at easy paces it to be so wobbly and unstable, but the second you picked up the pace in that shoe, you could absolutely fly. Now I know of course Fuel Cell will have been tinkered and fine-tuned from there, so obviously we're talking about a different compound in the midsole from that older previous shoe. However, I can see that if there was a plate in here, it probably could be quite an effective combination. On its own though, as I said, very comfortable, very soft, absorbed the impact brilliantly. It just doesn't have that snap, that spring back that I would have liked, or have experienced I should say, let's say in the Evo SL. Very impressed with the shoe. It's not a workout shoe. I wouldn't use it in an LT1 workout again. It hasn't quite got that responsiveness that the Evo has. That's what I've been doing a lot of my morning LT1 sessions in so far. I don't think I'll be swapping that one out anytime soon. But on the whole, I've got to say this, along with the Evo SL, are probably the two shoes that I have unboxed this year and had that kind of wow factor of, wow, this is going to work for me so well. I never thought I'd say this, but I really do appreciate the wider base on this shoe, and I think I will for those easier and steady runs. I think realistically, easier moderate running is going to be this thing's gig. I don't think anything else other than that. I know it will be marketed still as an up-tempo shoe, and the weight indicates that you could certainly use it for that, but I think the midsole there just kind of doesn't react as well as you'd like it to on those faster days. Otherwise though, I've got to say, this thing is absolutely spectacular. A couple of things I'm really appreciating this shoe so far already. I think what they've done with the gusseted tongue and the lockdown and the wraparound of the top of the shoe here is really nice. I feel really locked in. I always used to feel like Saucony were the brand that used to get their uppers dialed in and locked in so well, and other brands could never quite get it as fine-tuned. This feels really good, kind of on that same level. So I've been really impressed with that. And the Rebel version 2, well, I loved that shoe. That was a brilliant speed day shoe. A bit thinner in the base, a little bit lighter, a bit nimbler, but of course when you're adding a soft compound midsole like this without any form of plates or any stability features in there, people like me who might need just a little bit of guidance as they're going through the foot strike, not full-on stability, but if there's something in there just to hold your foot strong, it does make all the difference for lasting a little bit longer. For me, my ankles started to collapse in a little bit too much in that shoe, and I had to retire it shortly after 100 miles. Very similar to the Takumi Sen 9 actually. The medial cutout in that shoe made my ankle collapse in a little bit too much, and I could not shift that ankle pain that started to set in. It was a shame with that Rebel version 2. I can't see me having that issue with this one. As I said, with this wide base here, this wide setup, wide platform, I think it's going to do wonders for a lot of people. But of course, the question mark over this shoe is, and where I've shared it on Instagram and TikTok and put a short reel out and then since had messages from that, is how do you think the durability is going to be? So I've heard whisperings that the durability in the version 4 wasn't that great. Of course, I'd love to hear from you guys down in the comments how you found your version 4 and its durability. I obviously have no idea how this is going to go yet. Didn't test version 4, so time's going to tell on that one. But overall, I'm really excited. I think this one is going to get straight into the rotation and start logging those miles pretty damn quickly. There we go. There's my first run thoughts in the New Balance Rebel version 5. I've again had a lot of messages about where did you pick up this colorway? It's not meant to be out until July the 1st. Sports Shoes seem to release it on the weekend just gone or on the Friday. I purchased them straight away. They seem to disappear off the site. I reckon they made a bit of an error there. They weren't meant to release it, so I grabbed it when it was on site. But of course now it's been removed. So I think the colorway is coming out. If I'm honest with you, I don't like it. It looks like a golfer's shoe. I would definitely like some more vibrant colors on there, but there you go. You can't be too picky. Otherwise the shoe is running really, really nicely. I'd love to hear if you're going to pick up the Rebel version 5 and how you got on with the Rebel version 4. As I said, if you can share a bit of durability info down there, that'd be great, and let me know also if you're going to be picking up this shoe. And if you're interested in a couple of other shoe review videos that I've picked up recently, check out this one up here. This is a Puma Fast Start Nitro Elite 3. Really delighted to add that one into the rotation. And if you like that one, you might like this one down here too. And I'll see you guys over on one of those.